Hey guys, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. And today we are going to be talking a little bit about some interviewing prep. Since I have interviewed so many times in my life, I have kind of been through a lot of different types of interview, I feel like. So today I'm going to be touching on 5 tips that I think work best for me, things that I've found out over time that have helped me prep for my interview and hopefully not be so nervous. Although we know it's impossible to not be nervous to go into an interview because hello, it's a nerve-wracking process. I just wanted to give a couple of my tips because I think they were things that I have learned over the years doing a bunch of different interviews from when I was small, starting in pageants 7 years ago now, 8 years ago, up until now, plus things I've learned that translate into the actual job world and job interviewing process. Before we start, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and make sure you check me out on Instagram at unbroken_babe, and we will get right into the video. So my first tip that I have for rocking your interview and prepping for the interview is how you look. The first impression that anyone gets of you is what you look like when you show up for the interview. How you look is one of the biggest parts of showing up for an interview and making that great first impression. Now, that being said, there are different levels of interviewing where you might have to have different dress codes for them. For example, for a pageant, it's definitely required to have some sort of interview dress or some sort of interview suit, depending on the pageant system. I had an interview at Ulta, and they basically just said, dress cute. So they just wanted to see my own personal style and just kind of see me dressed up nice, kind of like a casual, cute type of vibe. But that all goes into the process of asking before you go, what are you looking for as far as dress code goes? Whatever job you're going for, make sure you dress the part. Make sure you look nice, do your makeup, do your hair, make it look like you tried, because that is the number one thing that I think people look for in a first impression is as soon as you hit the doorway of the room, they're going to know whether they like your look or whether they don't. So the second one that I have is, I think, the number one tip to take away from all of these. And that is knowing the position that you are interviewing for. This goes for any interview you will ever have in your entire life. This includes pageantry, this includes jobs, this includes any kind of interview that you can possibly think of. Knowing the position that you're interviewing for is going to help you kind of direct that interview in a way that makes them see why you're fit. They need to know that you're knowledgeable about the company themselves, the mission that the company has, what their standards are, and why you think that you can fit those standards. Basically, they're looking for someone to fill the position that is the best fit. And it doesn't mean you have to be an expert at everything. It just means that they have to know you did your research before you walked in the room to do that interview. For example, if we want to use pageantry, I know that the position that I'm going for to be a state queen, a national queen, whatever it might be, is a job. I am going in order to win that title, to be that spokesmodel for the entire year of my reign. So they want to know that they're giving that title, or if we're talking jobs, giving that job to someone who knows what they're talking about. One of the main things that I like to assure a job interviewer, a judge, whatever it might be, is that I'm ready for that position, that I have looked into what it takes to be there. I go back and I say this and this and this is why I am set and ready to go for this position, or I have experience in this field, which leads me to being better fit for this position than anyone else. It's more of just showing them why you are the person to pick. So my third point is another very important point. All of these are important, but I just feel like this is one that is not something people think about when they go into an interview or are prepping for an interview, but pageantry has really taught me this. You need to have a direction or a plan for what you're doing, what the job is, and how you're gonna make their company or system better by getting that job. For example, in pageantry, when I went to nationals, they really stressed this, that when you're going into an interview with the judges, they're looking for a girl who already has their goals set up, that it doesn't matter if they win the title or not, they're going to go and do that. If my goal was, per se, to work more with the charities that I have already been working with, that is a perfect way to say, well, this title could step up what I'm planning on doing in the future, but even if I don't get this title, I am still going to do this because I have a plan, I have a goal, and this is just something that could absolutely help my plan along the way, but at the same time, I already have goals. I am already driven to do those things, so winning this title would just give me the opportunity to further those goals. You have to be able to answer the question of, what are you gonna do? Okay, let's say I want to work as a beauty consultant at Sephora. And they ask you, okay, we really enjoy talking with you. Let's say that we call you back and you get the job tomorrow. You know, what is the first step for you? And that's a tough question. It is going to be so much easier for you to answer those questions a little bit easier, even though they are tough. It's just good to know that if they ask you what you're gonna do when you get the job, making sure that you have a plan going in to where if they do ask you those tough questions, you'll have an idea and a direction to take those questions and be able to bring it back to something you know and something that you have prepared already. The next one is very cliche, but it's very true, and it's just something I had to include because it's not easy. Don't try to be somebody else when you're in an interview. And this is 100% with anything in life. If you are trying to get hired for a job, they want to hire you. Like, if they like you, they like you. It's just how it's gonna be. I have always been someone that tries to be somebody else. And it's not because I'm not confident in who I am, but I guess I just never realized that being myself in an interview is enough. It all goes with that impression that you make on the judges. They're not looking for someone that's gonna solve world peace. Job interviewers are not gonna look for someone that is perfect like this all the time. Nobody is like that in real life. It's just true. The number one thing that I've noticed when I go into interviews, whether it's a job interview, a pageant interview, whatever, is that all of the questions are going to be something you can answer. Because we think so hard about these questions that we overthink them. It's like we freak ourselves out and then we just stand there and our mind goes blank because we don't know the answer, but we do. It's like, you know the answer, just don't overthink it so much. Be yourself, be true to your answers that you're given. If they ask you a question and you don't know, be honest about that. Be like, well, that's a very interesting question. It's really tough. You know, I'm not 100% sure, but I will tell you that, blah, 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 blah. And go into something that you can bring it back to something you do know. This one is something that I now can say I am, but I couldn't say that probably before like 6 months ago. And that's being ready at all times. And I don't mean having your hair and makeup done 24/7. I get that that's not realistic, right? But be ready to answer those questions, those simple questions, anywhere you go. You know, and I think having the title of Miss Illinois was one of those things that really got me used to being questioned a lot. You don't realize how much you get asked questions throughout the day at work or at school or in your daily life with friends and family. And if a judge were to ask you that same question, you would probably freak out. But because it's casual in a family member setting, it's not a big deal. So it's just like, think about that next time. It's like if a family member were to come up to you and go, hey, well, what are your goals for the future? you could probably sit there, come up with an answer. Be like, well, I'm not really sure, but I'm thinking this, this, and this. But if you were sitting in front of someone that's interviewing you, you'd go, and you just overthink the whole question altogether. So it's just part of interviewing should be something that we're used to all the time, in my opinion. You should be able to answer those questions about yourself at all times. The best way that you can learn to prep for anything interview-wise in life is to know about you, because that is all interviews are. We make such a big deal about them, but they really are just getting to know you. If you're confident with who you are, I guarantee you those interviews will go 100 times better. Okay guys, those are my 5 tips. I know they are a little bit long-winded, but I know that all of them are extremely important and very prevalent in my life, whether I am interviewing for a pageant, interviewing for a job, or just talking to people every day. But I really do hope you can take something away, and I appreciate you watching the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Check me out at unbroken_babe on Instagram, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.